First purpose is start பண்ணு. Okay.
Okay. Hello friends, in this video we are going to cover some quite big topic. Before that, I would recommend you to watch, if you are going to redo this one, you have to watch CloudHub Azure Cloud Mule VPN. So in this one, what we are doing, first we are creating a smaller network in Azure, which is a virtual network, right? From there we are going to connect to CloudHub VPC. So in CloudHub we used to have this VPCs, right? This VPC is a logical connector for your resources in whatever you created in the AWS. Which means whatever you create in the any platform, you are going to access this one logically through this VPC. VPN to connect these two networks, right? One is a corporate network, one is a CloudHub network. So to connect this one, if it is AWS, you will go for like Azure. It is in Azure it is express route. In AWS there is an equivalent direct connect, where you don't need a VPN. If you don't have a direct connect or express route, you need a VPN. This is a site-to-site VPN I have already established. If you refer this video, you will also be able to do that. But with the free Azure account, you cannot do it. You need an enterprise thing. That is a little bit a tricky one. But now I have established VPN between my CloudHub and Azure VPN. So this is my Azure. Mule mine is a resource group. This is my virtual network, what I was talking about. So in this virtual network, I have a RTF install, which is that is a runtime fabric. Runtime fabric, you can run Mule in three or four types, right? One is in on-prem, one is in CloudHub. The same in, if you want to run MuleSoft on Kubernetes, right? That is called RTF, runtime fabric, where you will allocate your processor in your API level. For example, I need a API in like CloudHub, right? CloudHub uses a different technology for doing this one. It will directly procure T2 micro from AWS, and it will install MQ, and it will install your API, so that you can isolate your APIs like that. If you want to isolate your API within your system on Kubernetes, how you can do that is within your processor, you will create a pod, a small isolated place where you can API can run. If your API is going to crash, it's going to crash alone. You will calculate that before allocating your processor to any API, you will calculate your load, and you will allocate number of percentage of the processors. For example, 0.25 processor, like that. Likewise, you select the CloudHub workers, right? Like that. Here we select a number of processor times, right? So what I have done, I have created runtime fabric in my corporate network. So CloudHub is separate. So I'm going to show you how you can call vice versa, right? My RTF will be able to RTF or run on premise. To keep it simpler, you can create.
One second.
Yeah, Murari.
Can you tell me? Can you briefly tell about on-premise, cloud, and Kubernetes, and why we need Kubernetes? What is the difference between each?
Yeah. See, on-prem, you will buy a server, for example, 1 or 2 servers, and you will dump all your APIs in a similar. That is a traditional way of doing it. For example, one of your API is leading into a memory crash. It's occupying all the CPUs, all the memories available. So it's going to affect other APIs. You will not know what is the performance of the API, right?
Oh.
So that time, you need to isolate, right? You need to isolate every API like it in the CloudHub. You can do that in a limited some extension. You can do that. For example, you can put one CloudHub worker, you can put your API, and you can call them.
Okay.
Right? That is 500 MB of memory will be allocated in your one worker. So that is a separate machine itself. But in Kubernetes, you have a group of machines One is called controller, one is called worker. So in the worker side, if you have for instance, if you have 4 CPU, that 4 CPU will be separated into 0.25 some smaller amount of it, and you can install your APIs logically. So it is separated logically.
Okay, so each worker will have our API.
Yeah, each worker can create, like for example, I don't know the number exactly, but you can create like 10. Okay, I know the number. You can create up to 20 to 25 API applications per core. That means 25 parts you can create
Okay,
per processor in RTF. But in CloudHub, if you buy a one worker, you can only deploy 10 APIs. But
okay,
in RTF, you can go up to 25 that is recommended.
okay.
Okay.
So you mean to say if there is a request or a response or a request load is more than we used to go for a cloud, and if still if
No, no.
request is
So when you will go for CloudHub, for cloud to cloud integrations, you will go for CloudHub. But the integrations happen within your corporate. You don't have to go outside of your network, right? So that's why we will keep the integrations happen within your corporate network. We will keep RTF.
okay, so within the organization,
Uh,
uh,
so your system and process layer does not have to go outside.
mhm,
That will have sensitive data, right? You cannot have, most of the organizations like bank, they will not agree to keep everything in CloudHub. So they will separate this one, cloud to cloud integration, they will put it in CloudHub. The internal
okay,
integration thing, they will use PCA. There is something called private cloud edition
mm,
and or RTF. In my preferred thing is RTF.
okay,
The difference between PCE and RTF is if the even the anypoint platform will come into your network, that is PCA.
mm,
RTF, only the runtime will be there in your network, but the platform will be in US region.
okay.
Yeah, that is the only difference.
Okay, fine, fine. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So with RTFs will be used within a company, within
yeah,
the organization
exactly.
for integration purpose.
Mm.
So anything if you want to use apart beyond that organization level, then we can go for a cloud. So
Yeah,
for
most of the
security.
organizations,
Mm,
for cost wise, it is not possible, right? Having in two places like
mm,
RTF as well and CloudHub, right? So
okay.
see, according to me, RTF is little bit cheaper because you can deploy 25 applications per processor. But in CloudHub, it's 10 APIs per processor. You can only separate like a processor into 10, point 1 into 10. That's all.
Mm. But you said that we can use the APIs in Cloud Hub also. Even for Cloud Hub, we have some security policies. So based on the policies also, we can secure our API, right?
Yeah, these policies are common to all
Uh,
the APIs wherever you deploy. Right? So
mm,
policies will be merged into your code and will be
uh,
so it will be kept it in a gateway wherever your code is running. Your policies will
correct,
be pushed. That's all.
correct, correct. Yeah,
Any point platform is a place where you manage your policies. That's all.
yeah. Mm. So Cloud Hub is nothing but where we keep the APIs.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. So so uh, okay. First thing is we will go through the RTF installation, right? So if you are going to try RTF installation, what you have to do first, you should have access to this runtime fabric thing. Um, but it is not possible for trial accounts. That is why most of the people does not aware of it, right? So that's how it is.
Mm.
So you have to press the create runtime fabric account. Fabric, give a name like demo. I'm not going to install end to end, but I will show how we can do that. So you can
Okay.
download these files. So these files will contain documents.
So in the runtime manager, we have an option for runtime fabric. So if we go to that, we can set up a runtime fabric, and we can install the whatever software is required for
Exactly.
doing. Okay.
See. Yeah, here it is.
So you already installed it in your system.
Yeah. So I have installed it already, but this will have scripts for AWS and Azure. This in it. So
Hmm.
in the Azure, you have some generate template dataset. You can run that
Okay.
one so that it will create your templates like this. So this template will contain. I
Hmm.
have altered this template also to my convenience. Right, what I have done. I have added the SSH password. So so it's Red Hat Linux it will run. So these are it's going to procure the machines on this type of thing. For example, D2 is a memory optimized virtual machines it's going to procure.
Hmm.
Uh, Let me go to the portal.azure and show you how you can do that. So once that template is ready, I can go and create a resource like this one, template deployment that is called create, build your own template, load that file, documents, runtime. Yeah, this one. So if it is prod, it's going to create 3 controllers and 3 workers. If it is controller is nothing but like you can control the node, right? That's all. Um, Control the worker nodes. Worker nodes where you actually run MuleSoft. So
Hmm.
it's going to create 3 virtual machines. One is since it's a development, it's going to create 1 worker, 2 controller. So once you go ahead with this one, if you don't have any errors,
So by default, it will create, right?
yeah,
Or
by
you need.
default, no, see, you had a development template,
Okay.
and this is a development template. You had a separate template also. So development template will create 3. This is 3 string, 2 workers and 1 controller.
Okay.
Okay, once you install this one,
Hmm.
your this thing will turn into like this green, right? So
Hmm.
this will become active. So if it is active, that means that Kubernetes is running. So now you have to assign this RTF into environments to the business groups first. So I have added the business groups from this sandbox and this sandbox, meaning both the business groups can see the share this RTF.
Okay.
See, this RTF will run as a unit, right? So for that you need an endpoint to call your APIs. So that is like a black box. You put your APIs in it within your Kubernetes uh, pods, right? So
Okay.
you cannot directly access them. So to access them, what you have to do,
Hmm.
you have to have one
Endpoint.
endpoint. So that is where the inbound traffic is secured.
Hmm.
Where I have a secret manager, you have to go to the secret manager from here. The secret manager is meant for that, where you can save your SSLs, right? So I have saved my self-signed certificates there. There, here I have selected. That's all. So there is TLS contacts. Everything comes from there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. So so now your setup is done with the RTF.
Hmm.
Another thing, what you have to do. So what else you can do with runtime manager here? You can't do anything except deploying the applications. So you can deploy the applications in RTF. I have deployed one application. This is called this is my RTF version name, and this is the API name. How can I access that? Is a question. So I can access my runtime fabric like this one. So this is my controller IP and the rest of the API path. But to find out my application name, I have to send a host. The host name is example.com. Yeah. So which is
Since you are connecting through RTF, we need to send the host name first,
application name, API name.
API
How,
name.
yeah, how it happens in CloudHub, because the CloudHub will contain it, the name itself, right? The CloudHub name
Mm.
will start, the application name will start, then the region, then the CloudHub.io shared load balancer.
Okay.
But in RTF, this is the way we can do it. Uh,
Mm.
so we have something else called ops center for RTF, to manage the RTF, because it's creating, it's related to Kubernetes, right? Kubernetes will create pods. So this is my controller node, these are my worker nodes. So, and again, you can shell your consoles from here. For example, if you go here, you can, sorry, you can log into your SSL, your Unix boxes like this.
No, this is which site you are looking into now currently?
No, this is called ops center, which is running in your controller itself.
Oh,
This is
okay.
to manage Kubernetes, to monitor Kubernetes, right?
Mm.
This is very special, made for Kubernetes itself.
So
See,
this
for
runtime
example,
fabric is connected with the MuleSoft through runtime manager.
exactly, yes.
Mm. So it is having one controller and two workers.
Hmm,
So we can monitor from the activities of each RTF through this
yes,
dashboard.
yes. See, my service is running one of the pod, right? This pod logs I can see like this one.
Oh, for AP logs also we can see from here.
Yeah, this is not a server, right, where you can monitor. You have to monitor the pods itself,
Mm.
right? Because that is the smallest amount. That is the smallest unit, right? One part is your API, one API. So I have one API. So that
Mm.
API I'm seeing here. For example, where I have to see that one, Kubernetes
But,
pods. Go here,
mm.
select this one. You will get your all the pods. These are related to. This is my pod actually. So that pod, pods logs, everything I can see it here.
So the status of the applications currently is running.
Yeah.
So, okay. So where is that host name? Where you have given the host name for that API application?
Give me a second. So okay, first we will come from development. Okay,
Mm.
the development is done in here. Sorry, this is not the one. So ng simple app. This one. This is a very
Mm.
simple app. Nothing. It has nothing actually. But the POM is the heartbeat, right? So we have to check here. I have a Mule Maven plugin configured specifically for the runtime manager. We will have it for CloudHub, right? Like this. I have. I will have to change the password. I will do that. So here I have my public URL setup, right? This is the one. So if I will explain you this one Mule Maven plugin. This configuration is
Okay.
specific to runtime fabric
Okay.
deployment. This is to make my runtime deployment happen.
Mm.
So here I am saying my username, password, application name, which environment I have to deploy this one, which is a sandbox. My business group it's a top business group.
MPA.
Yeah,
Okay.
provider is constant. If it is a runtime fabric, you have to pass a MC. Target is that RTF vary, that one, right?
That RTF, whatever
RTF
the
name.
operator.
Yeah,
Mm.
there is no properties. I'm passing it for now. So this is the CPU I was talking about. So for this API, how many CPU I have to give, and what is the memory I have to
Mm.
give, right? If it is a memory intense application, you can put your memory high here.
So on what basis you are fixing the value here for CPU reserved and memory reserved?
That is a different
Any, is there
calculation.
any criteria?
Criteria is there actually.
Mm.
I think it's in some document,
Okay.
but I have set the default one for now.
Okay. So,
Okay.
but we still we have some criteria for that to set for.
Yeah. We
Uh,
have once again here. I'm going to the runtime manager, runtime
mm,
fabrics. If we go here, where I have seen, I forgot actually. Probably I have to go to the API, runtime manager API applications. So my RTF applications, it will show here how many. For example, once you reserved, so this is the 0.3 CPU, right?
mm,
So it shows some value here.
okay.
See, it depends on the memory you have, memory and CPU you have, right? So if you go and see the runtime fabric, it will show cumulative how many cores you have.
Okay. That is for one runtime fabric. We
Yeah.
have set some
What is the
CPU.
available thing? What is the available processors you have? That is 3 point. See, for
Three,
example, if you have a two worker processor, two core processor, right?
mm,
You'll the RTF itself will reserve some point 0.5 worker for this one. Point 0.5 worker, I think point 0.4 for some other for internal usage. Okay, if you
mm,
have we have a two workers, which means 2 into 2 4 workers. Four workers, four cores machine, right? Four core
mm,
machine, point 0.4 is subtracted and 3.14 core is available.
mm.
So when you assign the memory, you have to consider this one. You have 30 MGB of memory by default. So based on
Okay.
that, you have to keep
So
your
for
APIs.
workers. Okay. So again, we need to set up here, right? Somewhere where you, oh, that will be in the POM file.
Yeah,
That
that,
details we have to
that
provide in POM file.
exactly. Yeah, that but that 0.3 M is the one you're seeing there. 500 MI
Mm,
is one you're seeing there.
okay.
This
So
public
public
URL
URL.
is the one is matching the host.
Okay.
Hopefully that is correct. I have to double check. It has been done long time, like 6 months ago.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but that is under at least 95% is correct actually. So your RTF is done. Your application is running.
Mm,
These are all we come to know. But our big picture is we have to call this one. We have to call this API, CloudHub API to here, not via internet, through VPN, right? So
mm,
this CloudHub API should be able to call these guys not via internet, through private. I mean through VPN. That is what our intention is, right? So what I'm
okay.
going to do, there is a test application I have created that has two flows in it, to show whether from here I'm able to call RTF services. Right now, this RTF service is not 100% going through, but I'm using a private IP. If you see, this is my
Mm,
private IP of my controller.
mm.
It is able to fetch
Uh,
the certificate. It's able to identify what is this private IP, right? See, if I'll go to my Azure thing, then find out the IP of this one, controller IP. So this is my controller IP. See, it has a public IP also. It has a private IP also. If you are
mm,
accessing through VPN, you'll be able to contact through private IP.
private IP. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I'm able to get the certificate. But it is failing on certificate. So it's saying some SSL engine issue. Otherwise, it's everything is fine actually.
Okay.
Okay. So likewise, I'm going to log into one of the console machine here. See here, I have logged in and called that API. I have deployed in CloudHub. So I'll show you the CloudHub API. Runtime manager applications. It's applications, right? Mule. Uh,
Mule for. version is RTF version, right? Below one.
Yeah, that is
That is
RTF.
RTF.
The private
That
check.
is,
Yeah.
uh,
So to deploy this private,
mm,
see, by default, if you deploy, that is public, right? To install, to access your applications, your APIs only through private API, you should make this not HTTP dot port, HTTP dot private dot port.
mm,
Okay.
okay.
If you
Okay.
have this one listening, then you can call your APIs not only by the name of your see by default. How do you do that? I go to any of the applications. I click on this
Just click
one.
on that. Yes,
Uh,
will
and you will say check, right? I mean, this is my remaining path. It won't work here because it's
mm,
start listening your HTTP dot port. Now it's listening HTTP dot private port. So this application, this API is not for public.
not for public. Okay.
So this is how we determine private
Can can
APIs.
can you show me that step once again? Like how you set the properties of this?
Yeah, give me a second. So
Uh,
find out private. So if someone asks you what is a private API, this is private API. If you are not allowing someone to access your API publicly, that is private API.
yeah. Okay.
So here you go. This is your
You showed in any point design, right?
no.
The
This is
setting.
the development
Oh,
area, right? So
okay.
here, so this is the property you have seen there.
Uh, okay.
So what I'm
HTTP.
saying, your HTTP
Mm,
port should
mm,
not be listening on 8081.
okay.
Usually, what we will say, if it's going, you are going to deploy it in CloudHub, you will say it is a HTTP dot port. That's all.
Mm,
But if you want to make it private, you have to make this private. Then nobody will be able to access it. So who can access it? Right? That's the question. Who can access it? You- Only the people in the local VPC. You go to the VPC, see if it is public and it is shared to the design environment and the sandbox. You will be able to access it in design environment, right?
mm,
Because your design environment also will come inside the VPC. So then only you
VPC.
can access it. If you go to the firewall, now what I have done is a different thing. Usually how it will be, your local VPC will be there. Your local
So
VPC,
here you added a new rule for the
yeah,
HTTP private dot port.
yeah, that rule is telling who
Mm.
if this IP range is this one, which means my RTF
So
Azure IP range,
okay. If that is the source, then it will go to
allow
that
it.
port number 8091.
Right,
The request.
exactly that's one. Yeah. So I'm going to access that one here.
Mm.
Oops, sorry. Uh, okay, yeah. So here, how do you call this API? You cannot call with the name of the API, then cloudhub.io. You have to include mule worker internal.
Mm.
Then only and the port number. Then only you can access it. So it's responding. What I'm going to do, that means everything is working, but I'll
Uh,
show you.
the domain name, where you will set up the domain name, like mule worker, internal mule.
Now, if you expose on this private, you can this is a DB name. Sorry, no, it's a LB name, load balancer name, internal load balancer. You can resell internal load balancer if you
Mm.
expose your API with 8091 HTTP, 8092 HTTPS.
So name by default, the name will be like mule worker, internal, something like that, or we can change if you want.
No, it will start with mule worker internal only. If you
Okay.
go,
Suppose I want to give some other name. Is
no,
it
you can't do
possible?
that. No, you have to have DLB for the dedicated load balancer for that.
Okay.
So this is the page you can verify it. So it
Okay.
explains like what is the see if you are exposing into them 80 and 443, that is normal.
Oh, okay. So for any point VPC, then the URL will be like mule worker internal.
Now, if you
What?
have a VPC, there also you can have a public API.
Okay.
Only if you want to make the API private, then you will use mule. You will expose them in 8091, and you will keep this one this mule worker internal.
Uh-huh. Okay. So these details we can find in MuleSoft the website itself.
Yes.
Mm.
So my point is, you cannot create everything and test it. At least you can see that and visualize it, right?
Mm.
Because you will not get Azure account for sure. I mean, you will get it, but
It's a cost.
yeah, it's a cost based. Also,
Mm.
this AnyPoint platform, you will not get this one. This is the critical thing. Since I'm
Mm.
working inside, yeah, so I got this one. Yeah,
So that option will not be available for all.
for all, yes, it won't be.
Okay.
Your customer has to purchase in order to you to use that.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a tricky part, and most of them does not have access to this one.
Is there any study material available in,
No, it is very limited.
mm,
So this RTF is a critical piece, right? So here, to create your name in it, and you create SAML, better you can talk to MuleSoft itself directly instead of breaking your head.
oh,
Also, in order to use this one, you need to have a valid Mule license.
mhm.
So these all things I'm having access to. That is the only difference.
Okay. So for runtime for using runtime fabric also we should have a separate login ID.
This one you're saying, is it?
Container to see the container.
This ops manager, yes.
Uh-huh.
It's not an integrated one. To get it, you can get it integrated. But you have to work on it. Like, it's not a straightforward way you can use it.
Okay.
So at high level, I have covered. I'm happy with this one actually.
Okay. Okay, Barney. The session was good actually. We think quite informative.
Once again, stop.